Talk of my reality. I'm sure everybody will attest to the fact that we don't need any reports anywhere to ascertain the dangers that faces journalists today in Ghana. Some of us have experienced this thing for the past 4 to 5 years, which led to us even moving from houses that we used to work for. It doesn't only happen through physical threats, but sometimes even when you're on air working, because the media houses we have in this country are largely owned by these politicians, they tend to tell you what to say, what not to say. They tend to send you a message when you say something and it doesn't go on well with them. They come out at you. Even when you are working, you receive so many messages from your bosses and say, why have you said this? Why do you say this? Why don't you say that? So it gets a bit frustrating that at some point you have to just tender in your resignation and leave, because it cannot be that you will sit down on a media platform and as you're working, you are being micromanaged like a robot. So that sometimes you have to just tender in and leave. Moving away from being micromanaged, which it happens to almost all the media practitioners in Ghana, especially those who are not paid well and are at the back pocket of the politicians. Then becomes the physical threat. Where
but before that, forgive me, before that, are you saying not wanting to be micromanaged is the reason you have moved from one media platform to the next?
Well, I wouldn't say that is largely the sole reason, but it was part of the reasons. In the run-up to the 2020 election, I was on another media platform, and in the course of doing my job, I used to have what they call the emancipation movement, where I tried to emancipate the minds of the people, because I've said that the only reason this country is peaceful is because the people do not understand what goes on around them. So I tell them what is happening, present them with the facts, then emancipating them whatever they want to use this information for. But in the run-up to 2020 election, I had government officials coming from the top of my management and saying that, no, you cannot continue with that program anymore. In fact, it gets a bit frustrating. So if you don't want to do that, then what other option do you have? You have to just move away from that platform. So it was one of the reasons that made me tender in my resignation.